The next chart is about the stacked bar chart. This represents multiple data series on top of each other, each bar segmented into different sections corresponding to the different categories or subgroups within each series. So here this type of chart is used when a feature has got a categorical data and the proportion of each category is shown as a segment of the bar and they are stacked one over other, and that makes a stacked bar. The height of each segment within the bar represents the proportion of the total value attributed to that category or subgroup. The key features are we have bars to represent the data, segments to represent each category, and they are stacked one over other, and these each segment is given appropriate color so that it becomes easier for us to understand, and each one is properly labeled and appropriate legends are provided. The common use cases for stack bar chart are comparing the contribution of different categories or the subgroups of to the total value or category. So when you are trying to understand the contribution of each category to the total, then it is better to use a stack chart. But here the difference between the pie chart and this one is in pie chart we talk about only one feature, whereas here we can simultaneously talk about multiple features having similar categories in each feature. Then each bar represents one feature and the segments represent the categories in each feature. So we can compare the feature wise, category wise together in one chart. So that's the advantage of working with the stacked bar chart. So this can be well used when visualizing hierarchical data or nested categories within the data set, and it's very well suited for highlighting the distribution of the values across multiple categories or groups. So to make sure to get maximum benefit out of stacked bar charts, we have some advices or best practices for use. So we must ensure that the total value represented by each bar is meaningful and clearly labeled. So we should use consistent color schemes or patterns to distinguish between segments and make the chart visually appealing. So the segments color should be such that the neighboring segments have contrasting colors. That's one issue, and they should be used consistently across the whole chart so that it provides a better insight of what we are trying to represent. Arrange the categories or groups in some logical order to facilitate the interpretation and comparison. So if we are showing multiple uh, categories by segments of a bar, then make sure that the position of each segment corresponding to the bar will represent the equivalent same category of the data. So that way, if we have some logical order, consistent positions of the categories, then it becomes easier for interpreting and comparing the data. So we must, of course, include the access labels, titles, legends, because they provide context and give a clear full meaning to the data. So we should avoid using the stack bar chart for large data sets or when precise comparisons between the individual categories are needed, as the stack format can make it difficult to discern exact values. So when we have a large size of data set, then it becomes difficult. And when we want a precise representation, then we should uh, avoid it using the stack bar chart. So here with an example. So the question asked was it's done on the survey. The question asked was how I spend the money on little luxuries by day of the week. So there are 7 days of the week. So 7 bar charts are there. 7 bars are there, one after other. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. As you can see, that's what is shown on the x-axis, and the y-axis talks about the amount spent. Now there are different categories where amount can be spent. It may be on ice cream, it may be for soda, it may be for chocolate, or it may be for coffee. So the looking at the uh, stack bar chart, we can see that on Monday, so the various amount of spent for different luxuries. So we can easily see that the red one on Monday has maximum share. That means red one is chocolate. So maximum money was spent for chocolate. The next one maximum was spent for blue one, that is coffee. The next almost same for ice cream and soda together. And also on top of that a number is given that makes total equal to 19. So here what all information we are going to get is in each day what type of luxury is favored. That is one thing. Then how much is contributed for each one. That is second thing. And in all totally how much money was spent is also given. So if you look at the last one or last two things or last three things, so there are some days all four are available, some days only three are available, some days only two are available. So depending on the situation, the whole thing keeps changing. Like on Wednesday, it is only soda and coffee, and on Friday, it is soda and coffee, whereas on Saturday, it is ice cream and coffee, and Sunday, it is ice cream and chocolate. So that's one example of a person's weekly spending day wise. So on Monday what happens, Tuesday what happens, and all. So we can see that the total amount spent is maximum on Sunday, though only two categories were used, but still the total is 22, highest among all them. So that can be easily visualized in the bar chart. That's the height of the total height of the bar will give the total amount spent. Then each share you can visualize the length of each one, how much length is green, how much length is orange, how much length is red, how much length is blue. So looking at that immediately we can make out what is the trend line. So that lot of information we can give. So what all information we are giving with this particular stack bar chart is what is the composition of each one, each day, which of the luxury, how much composition it is having, then what is the total amount spent, and next is day wise it gives the overall picture. So lot of information can be made available through this. So this is example of weekly basis. So if I continue a similar example on annual situation, then I can talk about monthly. So we will have 12 bar charts, and if we are talking about the expenditure, monthly expenditure, like how much is spent for grocery, how much is spent for eateries, how much is spent for other necessity, how much is spent on medicine, how much is spent for traveling, how much is spent for fuel. So if you just make a list of that and then put them on monthly basis, then we can make out what is our spending pattern is, and if there is any problem in the pattern, that is if there is overspending and all that, and if we are planning for proper budget and all, then we must allocate in such a way that the whole plan, whatever normal expenditures are there, are properly met, so we can properly plan our budget. Or if it is going beyond the budget, then how to curtail it, so which item is unnecessarily taking extra space and all that, so we can understand that and then try to control our expenditure and keep everything under the required budget and all that. So many informations we can collect, and from that information we get to know what next we should do, what are the future steps we should take, so that the situation is under control, or the solution for a problem is achieved. So that's all about the stacked bar chart.